My mother, Amelia Olivi, who everybody called Meme, was born here in Senigallia, just a small Italian seaside town nearby Ancona, which is the capital of the region. When I was young, one thing I remember, when she was drawing, when she was working, everything had to be very, very quiet. And if you were coming into the studio, she would say, "No, stop, please don't come, not now." This was one of the first memories. The incredible thing for her education was that her father was really a feminist, I think, because he let her go away from home when she was just 14 to go to school in Urbino and attend the high school from 14 to the end, to 18. In a way, this can't really happen now, but in the 30s, the school was still inside the palace, the Duke's Palace, at the second floor, which is an incredible place to study because you are surrounded with a Renaissance style everywhere, paintings and frames everywhere. Can you imagine when you are 14? You just every day cross the beauty of arts, of Italian arts, and then it's difficult not to become a great artist.
I think I wanted to become an artist from as long as I can remember. I have memories when I was 5 years old, 6 years old, just watching my grandmother working in her studio. You know, as a child you love drawing, and I just had the chance to be able to do this almost daily with someone who was doing this as a profession. Her studio was in the basement, but it had a lot of light, and I would go down there and she was just always focusing on her work or on the etching she was doing. And I would just put myself in a little corner just by her, and she would give me a pen and paper, and I would just draw alongside her.
Most of the work of my mom is on the land, the special land which is Marche land. The land is very different from Tuscany or other regions with the hills. They are very special, they're very gentle, very soft, and with a large perspective. So when you go to the countryside, you can see the sea. But anyway, if you turn your back, you have these infinite perspectives of hills. And I think that was her poetry. Alors donc ici c'était l'entrée, il y avait marqué villa, tu vois, villa. During the war, she came to the countryside where her grandfather had a lot of land and so they went to live there. D'accord, donc ils ont pu se réfugier ici parce que dans la ville, les maisons dans la ville, nos maisons actuelles, elles étaient réquisitionnées par les Allemands et donc ils sont venus ici. One night, a bomb just fell down in the house, in her own room, and destroyed the room. But thankfully, she wasn't in the room, so she didn't die.
I can imagine my grandma back then studying art, going to the university alone, moving from her parents when she was, so young. And sometimes I see pictures of her at her university. She's one of the only women. There were 2 women that graduated. So moving up in this world just filled with men, in a profession that's already difficult.
Son voyage commence en Italie, où elle est née, mais bientôt la guerre amène son lot de souffrance et de désespoir pour le monde entier. Cette gravure, par exemple, qu'est-ce que tu penses de cette gravure ?
Ouais.
Tu vois, sur ce qu'elle amène au premier regard et sur sa deuxième signification, sur sa deuxième...
Oui, parce qu'en plus, ouais, mais quand on dit, c'est là le symbole clair, c'est un écorché, c'est donc quelqu'un, enfin c'est quelqu'un qui a la chair à vif, qui est la violence, la souffrance de la guerre, mais est-ce que... Mais c'est la villa, Amélia, c'est la villa qui à son nom où elle a passé du temps. So my Italian family, as most Italian family are, was quite chaotic and numerous as well. So you could always expect some shouts, agitation, lots of animation and drama. And growing up, I was the smallest one, so I was always the most shy, the most introverted. And I think that's why I like drawing so much and just working on my own, because it became a bit of a sanctuary, a safe place for me to just get away from all this madness.
I was doing a lot of screen prints when I was at uni, and that's my favorite type of printmaking. So we have like this one. It's like 2 colors screen print. Because funnily enough, it's the one. It's not a coincidence that the printmaking I like is screen print, because you have access to a lot of colors. And my grandma used to do things a lot with more earthy tones. When you start at first, it's very messy. It's like almost too dark. Like you don't know which pressure you need to apply.
First of all, it's from my imagination. So I draw from reference. So I need to see pictures to draw, but the words I created are completely extracted from my inner words and my subconscious as well. So that's why you have a lot of, all these characters and this in these fantastical realms that has to do with some of my memories or fantasies, but also with stories that I imagine or perception of being a woman or a little girl as well.
A lot of my work is about girls because it's based on my own experience. Those girls are usually between the time, in the preteens, and everyone can relate to that. Which is fascinating and also frightening time when you're growing and your things are out of your control and you're trying to find your identity and you come across for the first time a sense of self, a sense of sexuality, all those questions you ask about yourself. And you look around you and sometimes what you see is not really what you want.
Amélie and Mémé, they were very close. When Amélie was 5 or 6 years old, they started to have an incredible relation.
We used to walk around together and she used to take me around Senigalia, the town where she was born, and show me all of her favorite spots. Around the docklands, by the fishermen, where they had just fished all the crabs in the big nets, I remember. Then we used to go to a lot in the forests, We would walk together, picking up things, finding things, then bringing them back to the studio to just play with it or draw. She laid a pathway for me. When she told me, you see, this is possible, you can do what you want, what you love, and I can show you how to do it, but you can go your own way as well.
Allora questa quindi lei diceva che c'è nei vari cataloghi.
Sì, è presente.
Ecco.
È presente.
Possiamo provare a trovarla?
Sì, sì, qui è abbastanza grande, c'è anche... eccola.
Ah sì, vedi? E i colori devo dire
Sì,
che
sì,
non
colori,
sono...
beh, questi sono dei prototipi
ok.
che servivano per l'impaginazione.
Poi l'avevamo vista? Dove
Sì, l'abbiamo vista di qua, questo mi sembra. Sì, questa è una doratrice, qui c'è questa è una macchina.
The school in Urbino is still very well known because it's not a simply academy of arts. Io faccio della litografia. It's an academy specialized on bookmaking, printing and all the techniques of engravings.
Perché poi si muove in questo modo, la pietra è qui dentro, si muove, il carrello scorre e quindi questo rullo bagna la pietra. Quando la pietra è bagnata va a prendere l'inchiostro, no? Prende l'inchiostro, poi quando torna avviene il contatto.
Anche se è moderno.
Sì, sì, è una struttura che è stata...
She learned really the classical way to draw. And then if you have these in your hands, you could become a wonderful artist. And also the engravings techniques, the etching techniques seems to you more easy because you know how to draw.
Lo strumento è il taglierino. Questo invece è un legno di testa.
Lei parlava sempre dei legni di testa.
Sì, legno di testa.
Però non era così su una...
Sì, no, e questo è proprio tutto il legno, questo qui è tutto proprio legno di testa. E qui c'era una dimostrazione di come lo stesso soggetto poteva essere realizzato con le varie tecniche della calcografia.
Comodo, perché
esatto, sì, tutto. Dal bulino alla punta secca, le tecniche dirette, no? Anche questo è il punteggio, e quindi questo senza l'uso dell'acido. E qui invece tecniche che utilizzano l'acido, l'acqua forte, l'acqua tinta.
Ci sono le impressioni di tutto il mondo in mostra alla Casa dei Carraresi di Treviso. Si parte dalle Marche e si va a Venezia e poi da Washington all'Australia. Tutto il mondo trasferito sulla carta da Memè Olivi.
At first, she couldn't even do what she wanted. She had to work for advertising, for fashion. She was working and working, doing all the little jobs she could do, and she was great at this. That's why I admire her a lot, because she managed to navigate between different professions, still keeping true to herself. It must have been 10,000 times harder and thus even braver to manage to also be a mother.
I am the daughter of an artist and I am the mother of an artist, which is not so comfortable. When you're in the middle, you are the link between them, but you can't be really an artist too.
Un collectionneur qui a acheté
Qui a acheté des portraits, un des premiers, un de mes préférés d'ailleurs.
pas
C'est
celui que tu as
celui
mis.
où il y a la main comme
Ah oui,
inspiré
dedans,
de Caravage, il y a les doigts qui rentrent à l'intérieur. Donc c'est un peu le stigmate du Christ, mais aussi pénétration sexuelle.
Si tu peux y aller, si Bernard s'est proposé de
I
t'accompagner,
can't
Bernard.
describe my mom on one word, but if I could start with one, I would definitely say creative.
So I was drawing myself. I remember I was drawing in her studio. Yeah, I'm older.
She will see this thing not for what it is, but for what it can bring or what it can become. She always managed to have fun while, exploring some of her passions or joint passions as well. She used to take me to exhibition and make me skip school and write and forge a doctor's note so I wouldn't get in trouble with school.
And I love that. I used to love that.
T'as rigolé un peu
Amélie, Louise, tu vas me dire si t'aimes bien cette sauce.
Oui, tout de suite.
Allez,
Immédiatement.
Cool, Lily,
Cool, Lily. Ah, ils sont pas c'est les moins.
Alors tu sais que, est-ce que vous vous souvenez, lors de mon déménagement à Sète, j'ai ressorti une photo que je trouve géniale et cette fois je l'ai encadrée. Est-ce que vous vous souvenez de cette photo avec Nona et nous trois sur le canapé où tu sais, tu t'enfonçais
Senigalia.
à Senigalia, le canapé un peu rayé là. Mais en fait après c'est complètement le bordel.
Il y a deux photos.
Et on lui monte dessus, elle est là genre enveloppée, engloutie par nous. Et occupée de nous toute seule.
Toute seule avec nous.
Et elle s'occupait beaucoup de nous
Ah
toute
oui,
seule. Et en
un peu
fait,
à
c'était un peu genre. Et puis Nona, tu vois, avec ses formes généreuses, qui était une sorte de mère nourricière. Et c'est marrant parce que la preuve, c'est la façon dont on marche sur elle, comme si on pécrissait de la pâte.
tu as fait des maths.
Bah écoute, il faut compter.
Alors, moi, je voulais te montrer quelque chose que j'ai trouvé dans toutes mes pérégrinations. Alors, attends. Alors, tout d'abord, il y a ça. Donc ça, c'est la...
Ah oui.
C'est
Pas
l'académie.
l'académie.
C'est l'académie.
Non, c'était pas ça.
Encore autre chose.
Ok, ça c'est la cour de la...
Ok.
Oui, c'est de l'autre côté où il y a l'arrêt du bus.
Mais j'avais l'impression que les arbres, c'était...
Les arbres, c'est de l'autre côté. Ouais.
D'accord.
Elle arrivait avec son grand tablier, comme je disais, qui volait. Et elle avait ses sacs, c'est ça. Et puis, comme ça. Et puis, elle s'installait, silencieuse. Elle commençait à travailler et elle donnait des explications, mais elle savait très bien qu'avec sa petite voix...
Chacun avait sa place.
Il n'y avait pas vraiment de place. Tu t'es installé où il y avait de la place.
Chaque année, j'avais le projet de faire une édition avec mes étudiants. Et une année, on a travaillé sur le thème de le sourire de Mona Lisa. Donc c'était, je l'ai ici, donc ça c'est les éditions.
Ah oui, tu avais trouvé.
Voilà, Mona Lisa de Vinci.
Ah, c'est drôle.
Et son
beau,
sourire de Vinci, 3 petits points.
Donc c'était l'inspiration de la Joconde.
Et aussi d'autres techniques, comme la lithographie.
Toi, tu faisais de la lithographie?
Non, lithographie, non, mais gravure. Gravure sur cuivre. Et c'est ça que je racontais. Ça me sidérait qu'elle puisse aller dans une ville avec sa plaque. Moi, j'étais dans mon laboratoire, il fallait contrôler tout. Et elle, d'une façon très improvisée, c'est ça qui me sidérait. Elle faisait les dessins sur place et les gravures. Mais je dis, mais comment tu fais? Et ça, c'était la tradition qui n'existe plus.
Et est-ce que tu as appris une technique, par exemple, avec elle ou pas? Je sais pas, le sucre, tu sais. Moi, j'ai des noms comme ça qui me reviennent.
En fait, la gravure, c'est comme une cuisine. Ouais. Il y a des recettes. En fonction de ce qu'on veut obtenir, on applique telle ou telle recette. Par exemple, le sucre, c'est pour, disons, respecter le geste, les dessins de l'artiste. Ou, disons, au départ, la pointe sèche. Je pense qu'elle utilisait beaucoup la pointe sèche. Le vernis, toutes les techniques de l'aquatinte qu'elle maîtrisait parfaitement. En fait, c'était ça son talent et les résultats qu'elle obtenait m'ont beaucoup impressionné.
Every artist, I think, and especially women, have to struggle between the family and the work. My mother was honest with us, saying if I would not have had children, my career of artist could be really bigger. Had problems with my father in a moment of her life. It happened that she had a breakdown because my father had an affair with somebody else. He wanted to divorce, I think. And that was the problem she had to manage. The idea of divorcing was just impossible for her, so she stayed, I think, several months in a hospital. And they decided to stay together. And then when she recovered, she really became another person, I think. She became more focused on art.
My grandma did exhibition all over the world, in South America, the United States.
She went to Japan, she went to Washington. First she had the exhibition and then she was meeting people and people in art school, so sometimes she stayed months.
She was finally able to do her ultimate passion and even teach about it.
I remember she stayed 3 months in South America just for teaching etchings.
Memè Olivi, la sua formazione artistica e come è venuta avanti nel tempo.
Lavorando e sempre però studiando. E ho fatto la scuola Urbino, l'accademia, un'altra accademia di pittura, Brera, ho fatto tanti lavori, sempre.
I temi leopardiani molto ricorrenti nei suoi lavori. Perché questa scelta?
Perché quando vedo un paesaggio lo sento moltissimo e questo marchigiano mi è profondamente... Lo sento perché io sono marchigiana e poi guardando sento proprio l'infinito e tutto il resto della poesia del Leopardi.
The main difference is my grandma back then didn't really have a support network. She had to work for herself and basically make her own path. And she didn't have any agent or anyone to help her. I have a gallery that helps me get my work seen, not just in Paris, but in other places. But no, my grandma didn't have this. I do remember spending some time drawing, but I think we was coming here to pick her up, and usually we'll go to see exhibitions and shows. And I'm just really amazed on how my mother managed to turn it into like this beautiful homage to her. And the exhibition, I'm very happy about it. It's nice that we have like 2 different separate rooms. I hope she would. I think she would be happy. She would be proud. But she left an amazing trace. You can feel it.
Elle était très très productive, mais en plus d'expérimenter énormément. Et elle essayait énormément de choses. Et j'en veux pour preuve, en fait, tout le travail qu'elle fait dans la texture de ses gravures. Par exemple, elle arrivait à texturer l'arrière d'un bouquet. Elle faisait tous ses embossages elle-même sur les papiers. Et nous, on trouve que ça donne des caractéristiques très particulières à ces gravures. C'est extrêmement délicat et fin. Je vous laisse vous approcher.
La première fois que je l'ai vue, je me souviens, j'ai été vraiment... j'ai été hypnotisée par sa douceur, par sa chaleur humaine. Et j'avais pas encore capté l'immensité de son travail. En dehors d'être d'une fabuleuse artiste, c'était une fabuleuse femme. J'ai trouvé que pour son âge, c'était une femme très active encore. Honnêtement, se retrouver ici autour de toutes ses œuvres, inévitablement, elle est avec nous, quoi. C'est dur de retenir son émotion parce que je suis sûre qu'elle nous entend, qu'elle est avec nous. C'est vraiment... C'est une chouette personne.
J'aime bien ce format-là parce qu'en fait, ça permet d'avoir une...
Narratif.
Oui, c'est très narratif d'avoir une histoire, mais en fait, qui s'arrête pas. Et puis en fait, on passe à un autre niveau de lecture dans un plan derrière, mais on revient vers la gauche, après vers le bas. Et en fait,
trait est là, la continuité, la fluidité. Il y a quelque chose de commun entre elles, c'est la fluidité du trait qui est fabuleux. Par contre, Amélie rajoute, elle, beaucoup de subconscient. Tu vois, alors que je pense que Mémé Olivia, elle était plus dans la contemplation, je dirais.
mais même ma grand-mère, ça ça l'intéressait, ça la choquait pas qu'on fasse des médiums ou même des styles ou des sujets différents. C'était au contraire, elle me donnait toujours des petits conseils, des petits tips, on va dire. Puis vers la fin de sa vie, quand elle perdait un peu la tête, elle pensait que c'était elle qui faisait mes dessins en fait.
C'est vrai?
Ouais. Oui,
Elle habitait ici.
Ça, c'est génial.
C'était l'appartement.
Chaque fois, je lui demandais, mais c'est beau ça, c'est toi qui l'as fait? Elle disait, oui, c'est moi, t'aimes bien?
Formidable.
Voilà. What I carry with me of my grandmother, I think, is the ability to just see beyond what's in front of you and make it, create a story out of it or create art.
Ce qu'elle faisait d'habitude.
Voilà, donc je pense que ça c'est un peu la première, si on peut dire.
Oui.
Et donc elle en a fait 15 différents et c'est tout. J'ai pas retrouvé d'autres.
Ouais, c'est très atypique un peu d'elle, peut-être. Enfin, je connais pas tout
Oui.
son travail, mais là, il y a une expérimentation aussi pour mettre deux techniques ensemble. Je me pose la question s'il n'y a pas deux plaques même, mais c'est pas non. Mais elle travaille sur le.
Et ça, c'est quoi alors?
Alors ça, c'est sans doute. Maintenant, si j'ai pas la plaque, je peux pas me rendre compte, mais ça peut être du carborandum.
Ah oui, ça j'ai entendu parler de ça.
Oui, parce que mais c'est très beau là. Ah, celui-là, il est très très beau. Moi, j'aime beaucoup celui-ci. Toutes les déclinaisons qu'une seule image peut rendre.
C'est dingue, hein? C'est
incroyable. Mais ça, c'est un travail d'imprimeur après avoir fait un travail de graveur. Il y a deux travaux deux aspects de l'estampe qui se manifestent là. C'est-à-dire à la fois les capacités extraordinaires de déclinaison qu'offre une matrice gravée. Et elle est presque peintre là, dans cet exercice parce qu'elle elle est très coloriste. Hein.
Je pense... Comme je te dis, ça, c'est quelque chose qu'elle a fait vraiment C'était un des derniers travaux. Je pense que c'est une sorte de résumé de tout son savoir-faire. Parce que c'est plutôt à la fin de sa vie. Elle s'est épurée au niveau du dessin. Et là, on sent la volonté, je le crois, des techniques, d'aller au fond de la technique. Qu'est-ce que tu en penses ?
Elle cherche, elle est libre. Hein. Je trouve que dans ce travail, je ne peux pas dire si c'est au début ou à la fin. Oui, effectivement, probablement, c'est parce qu'il y a une espèce de recherche pratiquement exclusivement sur le potentiel d'impression qu'offre une matrice. Et elle cherche la couleur comme un peintre cherche la couleur.
Everything around us has a story to tell. And my grandma used to see these stories in like the silent hills of the Marche. I think maybe there's a connection in the representation or at least the perception of violence. You know, like my grandmother experimented the trauma that is the war, so it's one sort of violence, and she was using her art. I like to think that she was using her art to process it, and in a way I use my art to process some sort of violence that if I have encountered or not, that's not the subject, but women in daily basis from when we're born and from centuries and from the beginning of civilization have endured even on a really, insidious or hidden ways. I mean, it's still there and we are not done with it.
I carry the curiosity of styles, different styles, art everywhere, the beauty. Just the eye. She had an eye too, and Amélie has an eye too. So this I think I'm carrying from my mother.
Donc inconsciemment, la nuit, tu y penses.
C'est très beau.
Est-ce que tu sais que quand...
Some of the old ones, those are flowers, and she made flowers at the end of the life, so it seems a miracle to be able, over 80 years old, to do all the steps and to print. You see the pressure. For her, it was life, just continuing. And the flowers, in a way, were, she wanted to keep them alive.
L'ho vissuto veramente questo paesaggio. Quando l'ho disegnato ho pensato subito a un acquaforte e poi sono entrata nei particolari, ho inciso più vivo possibile e guardando molto lavoro, molto impegnativo, molte soddisfazioni e soprattutto parlando con i giovani ai quali posso dire lavorate, entrate nel lavoro, siate seri lavorando e godendo anche di questo lavoro perché è bellissimo.